Ever get that like little pang of envy,
Yeah.
when you see those velvet ropes, the VIP only sign?
Oh, yeah.
Like we've all been there, right?
Totally.
Wondering, is the grass really greener on the other side of that velvet rope? Is VIP all it's cracked up to be? Or are we buying into some kind of like carefully crafted illusion? Today we are diving deep into, the psychology of exclusivity. We'll be dissecting that whole cultural obsession with VIP and exploring what it really means,
Mhm.
to actually feel valued in a world that often just equates status with worth.
Mm. It's really fascinating, this whole VIP thing, because it plays on like some pretty fundamental human desires.
Oh,
We are wired for connection, belonging, feeling like we actually matter.
for sure.
And in a world that often feels so chaotic and impersonal,
Yeah.
the allure of exclusivity, I mean, it can be incredibly seductive.
Right.
It promises the sense of status, recognition, and even like control
Yeah.
in a world where those things can feel, really elusive.
Totally. It's almost like a shortcut to feeling important, right? Like,
Mhm.
I made it, I'm in the club, I'm special. But does it really, like, deliver on that promise? Or are we just chasing this, like, fleeting feeling that ultimately leaves us wanting more?
That is the million-dollar question.
It is.
Because while those velvet ropes might offer a temporary, ego boost,
Hmm.
they don't address those like deeper needs
Right.
that drive our desire for that exclusivity in the first place. Actually, they can often exacerbate those needs,
Yeah, yeah.
creating, a cycle of seeking external validation that never quite like satisfies.
Hmm. Okay, so let's unpack that a little. What are those deeper needs, and
Okay.
how does the pursuit of VIP status actually, hinder our ability to fulfill them?
So one of the most fundamental needs is it's the need for authentic connection. We crave genuine relationships, where we feel seen, heard,
Yeah.
valued for who we actually are, not for what we have, or where we stand in like some arbitrary hierarchy.
Yeah.
But VIP culture often fosters a sense of competition and comparison, right?
Totally.
And our worth is measured by our proximity to that exclusivity. It creates a divide, doesn't it,
It does.
between the haves and the have-nots.
Right.
And it undermines the very, very sense of connection that
Yeah.
we're all actually like seeking.
It's like those awkward VIP sections at like, concerts or festivals.
Yeah.
Like you're crammed in with a bunch of strangers,
Right.
all like vying for the best view, the most attention.
Exactly.
And it ends up feeling like more isolating than inclusive.
Absolutely.
It's so true.
And then there's the need for meaning and purpose, right? I mean, we want to feel like our lives have value,
Yeah.
that we're like contributing to something bigger than ourselves. But
Mhm.
VIP culture often promotes like this very narrow definition of success,
Right.
one that's based on material possessions, status symbols and external validation. It can lead us down this path of chasing those, superficial goals that ultimately leave us feeling empty, unfulfilled.
It's like, okay, it's like that time I splurged on like this VIP package
Oh, yeah.
for a music festival.
Oh, nice.
I thought, it was going to be this transformative experience,
I guess sure.
but it ended up being the same overcrowded festival.
Yeah.
Just with, slightly shorter lines and like a ridiculously overpriced cocktail.
Oh, no.
All that money, and I felt more like deflated than delighted.
Happens all the time. We get so caught up in the allure of exclusivity, we
Right.
forget to ask ourselves what actually matters. Are we investing in those experiences that align with our values, bring us genuine joy?
Yeah.
Or are we simply just buying into like this marketing ploy designed to exploit our insecurities
Clearly.
and desires?
Yet you've hit on something really important here, this distinction between perceived value and actual value,
Yeah.
VIP culture.
Yeah.
It often conflates the two,
It does.
leading us to believe that exclusivity automatically equals like a better experience.
Exactly. And this is where that whole psychology of scarcity comes into play.
But yeah.
When something is perceived as like rare or limited,
Mhm.
our brains they tend to assign it like greater value,
Right.
even if that objective quality is like no different.
Right.
I mean, it's the same reason, right? Why those limited edition products or exclusive offers, they can be so tempting,
Yeah.
even if we don't actually need or like want the item itself.
It's so true.
Yeah.
We are hardwired to crave
Wow.
what we can't have.
Yeah.
It's almost like a primal instinct.
Exactly. And businesses, they know this, and marketers, they're like keenly aware of this.
Oh, yeah?
They leverage our innate desire for exclusivity to drive demand, create hype,
Yeah.
and ultimately,
Increase those profits.
yeah, increase profits.
So how do we break free from this cycle?
Mhm.
How do we start to question those ingrained beliefs?
Mm.
Make more conscious choices about what we value.
It starts with awareness.
Okay.
We need to become more like critical consumers
Yeah.
of those marketing messages and
Yeah.
social cues that equate status with worth.
Mm-hmm.
We need to ask ourselves, am I seeking this experience because it like genuinely aligns with my values and interests?
Right.
Or am I simply just trying to keep up with the Joneses?
Right. It's about recognizing those subtle messages that tell us we need to be a certain way or own certain things or have access to these certain experiences in order to be considered successful or worthy.
Exactly. And once we start to recognize those messages,
Yeah.
we can choose to reject them. We can create our own definition of success.
Right.
One that's rooted in authenticity, connection,
Yeah.
and meaning.
So how do we do that?
Yeah.
How do we actually shift our mindset
Right.
and start to value ourselves,
Okay.
our experiences,
Yeah.
based on something deeper than exclusivity?
It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's not a destination. And it requires, this conscious effort to rewire our thinking and challenge those, ingrained beliefs.
Right.
One really powerful strategy is to focus on cultivating gratitude
Yeah.
for the things we already have,
Yeah.
rather than constantly striving for more.
It's like that saying, comparison is the thief of joy.
Exactly. When we are constantly comparing ourselves to others, we're focusing on what we lack
Right.
rather than appreciating what we already have.
Yeah.
But when we shift our attention to gratitude,
Yeah.
we start to see the abundance
Mm-hmm.
in our life, and that can be like incredibly liberating.
I love that. Gratitude as an antidote to the envy and dissatisfaction that often fuel the desire for exclusivity.
Exactly.
What are some other practical steps we can take to break free from this mindset?
Another really powerful tool,
Yeah.
mindfulness. When we're more present in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
we are less likely to get caught up in those anxieties and insecurities that drive us to, seek external validation.
It's like taking a step back and observing those thoughts and feelings without judgment rather than getting swept away by them.
Exactly. And when we can do that,
Yeah.
we create space for more intentional choices.
Right.
We can ask ourselves, what truly brings me joy?
Yeah.
What experiences actually make me feel alive and connected? What kind of impact do I actually want to have on the world?
Whoa, those are big questions.
I know, right?
But I think they're the right ones to be asking, if we want to break free from the allure of exclusivity and create a life that's truly fulfilling.
I agree. And it's not about denying ourselves pleasure or those experiences.
Right.
It's about choosing those experiences consciously.
Yeah.
Based on what truly matters to us,
Yeah.
rather than what we think we're supposed to want.
Right. It's about defining our own values and letting them guide our choices rather than letting external pressures dictate our worth.
Exactly. And when we can do that, we create a life that's more authentic, more meaningful, and ultimately more satisfying than anything that can be found behind those velvet ropes.
Well said. But what about those of us who do have access to those exclusive experiences? Does that mean we should shun them altogether? Or is there a way to engage with them in a more conscious and balanced way?
That is a great question. And I think the answer lies in finding a balance between indulgence and intentionality.
So it's not about depriving ourselves. It's about being mindful of our motivations.
Precisely. If you are going to splurge on a VIP experience,
Yeah.
do it for the right reasons.
Okay.
Choose experiences that align with your values and interests, Not just for that, for the status symbol, the bragging rights. And be mindful of the impact your choices have on others.
That's such an important point, because even if we can afford those exclusive experiences, it's important to remember that not everyone has that privilege.
Right.
And when we flaunt those experiences, it can it can perpetuate this sense of division and inequality.
Exactly. It's about using our privilege responsibly
Hmm.
and recognizing that true fulfillment comes not from separating ourselves from others, but from
Yeah.
connecting with them on a deeper level.
Good. I love that.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of our experiences and making choices that contribute to a more equitable and fulfilling world for everyone.
Exactly. And when we can do that,
Yeah.
we not only create a better world for ourselves,
Hmm.
but we also like inspire others to do the same.
So we've talked a lot about the psychology of exclusivity and the allure of VIP culture, but what about like those practical implications?
Right.
How does this obsession with status actually play out in our daily lives?
It shows up in like so many subtle ways,
Hmm.
from the brands we wear to the restaurants we frequent
Yeah,
to the social circles we cultivate.
totally.
We're constantly just bombarded with messages that tell us we need to be more, do more, have more in order to be considered worthy.
It's like we're all on this hamster wheel of striving, never quite feeling like we've arrived.
Exactly. And this constant striving, it can lead to a sense of anxiety,
Hmm.
inadequacy, and even like burnout.
Yeah.
It can disconnect us from our true selves and from the things that actually, truly matter.
So how do we break free from this cycle?
Right.
How do we start to create a life that's more like grounded,
Yeah.
more meaningful, less
Mm-hmm.
driven by that external validation?
It starts with this conscious effort to shift our focus.
Okay.
Instead of chasing external validation,
Yeah.
we can start to cultivate a sense of inner worth.
Right.
Instead of comparing ourselves to others,
Mm.
we can focus on our own unique strengths
Yeah.
and talents. And instead of striving for more, we
Right.
can start to appreciate, what we already have.
It's like we're like taking back our power,
Yeah.
reclaiming our worth from those external forces that tell us we're not enough.
Exactly. And when we do that,
Yeah.
we open ourselves up to like this whole world of possibilities. We can start to live our lives based on our own values and
Yep.
desires
Right.
rather than what we think we're supposed to want.
So it's not about rejecting success or ambition altogether.
Right.
It's about redefining what those things mean to us.
Precisely. It's about creating a life that's aligned with our deepest values,
Yeah.
a life that feels authentic
Hmm.
and fulfilling, regardless of that external status or recognition.
I think that's such an important message to share,
Yeah.
especially in a world that often equates worth with status and success with material possessions.
Hmm.
But I'm curious, how do we actually like put this into practice?
Right.
How do we start to make those shifts in our daily lives?
One really powerful strategy is to start paying attention to the language we use.
Okay.
We often talk about feeling like not good enough or less than others.
Yeah.
Reinforcing those feelings of inadequacy.
Right. Like when we say things like, "Oh, I could never afford that,"
Exactly.
or "I wish I had their life."
Exactly. But what if we started to challenge those thoughts?
Hmm.
What if we started to reframe our language to reflect a more positive and empowering self-image?
So instead of saying, "I could never afford that,"
Yeah.
we might say, "I'm choosing to invest my resources in other things that are important to me."
Exactly. It's about shifting our focus from what we lack
Yeah.
to what we have,
Yeah.
from what we're not
Right.
to who we are.
I love that. It's about reclaiming our worth, defining our own values. But what about those uh, external pressures we face?
Hmm.
How do we deal with like those societal expectations and messages that constantly tell us we need to be more,
Yeah.
do more, have more?
It's about becoming more discerning about the
Oh.
information we consume
Yeah.
and the influences we allow into our lives.
Hmm.
We can choose to unfollow social media accounts that make us feel inadequate.
Yeah.
We can limit our exposure to advertising that promotes like unrealistic beauty standards or lifestyles.
Right.
And we can surround ourselves with people who support our values and lift us up
Yeah.
rather than tear us down.
It's like creating a more supportive and empowering ecosystem for ourselves.
Exactly.
A space where we can thrive and grow without, feeling the pressure to conform to external expectations.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that those external expectations, they're often like arbitrary, rooted in scarcity,
Yeah.
They're designed to keep us striving,
Mm.
consuming, seeking that validation outside of ourselves.
But true fulfillment comes from within, right? From
Yeah.
connecting with our authentic selves,
Yes.
from cultivating meaningful relationships, from contributing to something larger than ourselves.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our worth, it's inherent,
Hmm.
not earned. We
Yes.
are enough just as we are. And when we start to believe that, we can break free from the allure of that exclusivity and create a life that is truly fulfilling.
I love that. It's a powerful message of self-acceptance and empowerment.
Mm.
And it challenges us to redefine what it means to be successful and to create a world where everyone feels valued and worthy,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of their status or possessions.
Exactly. Because ultimately, the most valuable things in life
Sure.
are the ones that can't be bought
Right.
or sold.
Totally.
They're the connections we make,
Hmm.
the love we share, the impact we have on the world.
Well said. And I think that's a perfect segue into the next part of our conversation, where we'll be exploring practical strategies for cultivating a sense of worth that's not tied to, external validation or material possessions.
I am looking forward to that. So we kind of laid bare that whole psychology behind craving that VIP label. But what if instead of chasing exclusivity,
Yeah.
we focused on democratizing those experiences,
Okay.
making that sense of value, you know,
Yeah.
accessible to everyone.
Now that's an intriguing concept.
Right.
It sounds almost revolutionary in a world that's become like so obsessed with hierarchies and like special treatment. But how would that even like work in practice?
Okay, imagine this. You walk into a store,
Okay.
not a VIP section, just a store,
Right.
where every single customer is treated like they are the most important person there.
Hmm.
The staff is knowledgeable,
Yeah.
attentive. They go the extra mile to help you find exactly what you need, and they do it with like genuine warmth, enthusiasm.
Yeah.
No need for a special membership or a hefty price tag.
Right.
Just exceptional service as like the standard, not the exception.
Okay. I can already feel myself like relaxing just thinking about that.
Right.
Like it takes the pressure off of having to like earn that special treatment.
Exactly.
But how do businesses make this work?
Right.
Wouldn't it be incredibly costly to provide that level of service to everyone?
It certainly requires a shift in mindset for
Okay.
businesses and consumers.
Yeah.
For businesses, it means recognizing that investing in their staff,
Yeah.
training them well, empowering them to go above and beyond for every customer, that is a key differentiator in today's market.
So it's about creating a culture of like, genuine care and hospitality,
Yeah.
not just like going through the motions.
Right.
But what about like the bottom line?
Right.
How do businesses balance, this commitment to excellent service
Yeah.
with the need to be, profitable?
It's not an either of proposition.
Okay.
Actually, studies have shown that businesses that prioritize customer experience,
Mm-hmm.
they actually see higher levels of customer loyalty, repeat business, and positive word of mouth marketing,
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Happier customers, more successful businesses.
Exactly.
But it requires a shift away from that short-term transactional mindset.
Yeah.
That's so prevalent in today's consumer culture.
Precisely. It's about,
Yeah.
building lasting relationships with those customers, creating a sense of community,
Mhm.
fostering a culture of mutual respect,
Yeah.
appreciation.
I love that. I love that vision.
Yeah.
But let's get real for a moment, right?
Right.
We live in a world where like instant gratification reigns supreme.
For sure.
How do we convince people to value those long-term benefits when they're constantly just bombarded with messages that tell them to want it all and want it now?
It's a challenge for sure, but I think people are becoming increasingly disillusioned with that empty promise
Right.
of instant gratification.
Right.
They are craving authenticity,
Mhm.
connection, experiences that have real meaning and lasting value.
So it's about tapping into that deeper desire, like that longing for something more than just the fleeting satisfaction of
Yeah.
acquiring the next shiny object
Yeah.
or exclusive experience.
Exactly. And businesses that can tap into that desire,
Hmm.
that can offer like genuine connection
Yeah.
and experiences that actually nourish the soul, they will be the ones that thrive
Yeah.
in the long run.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
But how do we as individuals, start to shift our own mindsets and behaviors to support this more conscious and equitable approach to value?
Right.
What are some practical steps we can take?
Let's start with awareness.
Okay.
Pay attention to those moments when you feel that that pang of envy or that desire for exclusivity.
Right.
Ask yourself what's driving that feeling. Is it a genuine need or desire, or is it a fear-based reaction to a perceived lack?
It's like catching ourselves in those moments of comparison and
Yeah.
questioning those assumptions that tell us we're not enough.
Exactly. And once we start to become more aware of those patterns,
Yeah.
we can start to challenge them. We can ask ourselves, what do I truly value? What experiences bring me, joy, fulfillment?
Yeah.
How can I create more of those experiences in my life, regardless of whether they come with a VIP label?
I love that. It's about taking back our power, defining our own values. But
Mm.
what about those external pressures we face? How do we navigate those social expectations,
Yeah.
messages that tell us we need to have certain things or experiences in order to be considered like successful?
It's about becoming more discerning about the information, we consume and the influences that we allow into our lives. We can choose to unfollow those social media accounts that make us feel, inadequate. Limit our exposure to advertising that promotes unrealistic, beauty standards or lifestyles, and surround ourselves with people who support our values and lift us up, rather than tear us down.
It's like creating a more supportive and empowering ecosystem for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Space where we can thrive and grow without feeling that pressure to conform to those external expectations.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that those external expectations, they're often arbitrary and rooted in scarcity. They're designed to keep us striving,
Right.
consuming, and seeking validation outside of ourselves. But true fulfillment, it comes from within, right? Connecting with our authentic selves,
Right.
cultivating meaningful relationships, and contributing to something, larger than ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's about recognizing that our worth is inherent, not earned.
Mhm.
We are enough just as we are. And when we start to believe that, we can break free from the allure of exclusivity and create a life that's truly fulfilling.
I love that. It's a powerful message of self-acceptance, empowerment, and it challenges us to redefine what it means to be, successful and to create a world where everyone feels valued and worthy, regardless of their uh, status or possessions. Exactly, because ultimately the most valuable things in life are the ones that can't be bought or sold. They're the connections we make, the love we share, the impact we have on the world.
I remember this time I was traveling solo
Yeah.
in a new city,
Okay.
and I was feeling a little lost
Mm.
and lonely, and I stumbled upon this tiny, unassuming cafe,
Okay.
and there was like nothing fancy about it, no VIP section, no elaborate decor, but the barista behind the counter, she greeted me with this warm smile,
Mm.
asked me about my day,
Yeah.
and made me feel like I was the only customer in the world.
Mm.
And we chatted for like a few minutes,
Nice.
and I left feeling so much lighter
Mm.
and more like connected,
I bet.
all because of that simple, genuine human interaction. It was a powerful reminder that true value lies in those authentic connections,
Yeah.
not in the trappings of exclusivity.
Such a beautiful example.
Yeah.
It's those small acts of kindness, those moments of genuine connection that, make life richer, more meaningful.
Okay, so we've talked about shifting our mindsets,
Yeah.
choosing our influences wisely,
Mm-hmm.
and appreciating those simple, authentic moments.
Right.
What are some other practical steps we can take to break free from that VIP mentality,
Mm.
create a more equitable and fulfilling world for ourselves and others?
One really powerful tool is our spending power.
Uh,
We can choose to support businesses that align with our values.
mm,
Look for businesses that prioritize customer experience at all levels, not just for those top-tier clients. Support businesses that are committed to fair labor practices,
mm.
sustainability, community engagement.
So it's about putting our money where our mouth is, literally.
Yes.
Voting with our wallets to support a more ethical and equitable marketplace.
Exactly. And we can also use our
Yeah.
voices to advocate for change. We
Right.
can speak up when we see businesses or individuals perpetuating this culture of exclusivity
Right.
or treating others with disrespect. We can call out those subtle messages that reinforce
Yeah.
inequality and challenge the status quo.
It's about using our voices to amplify those who are marginalized.
Yeah.
To challenge those in power and to create uh, a more just and inclusive world. But it can feel daunting, right? To
Yeah.
to speak of it, especially when we're up against these deeply ingrained uh, systems and beliefs.
I understand that. It takes courage to
Mhm.
challenge the status quo, but remember, even small acts of resistance can have a ripple effect,
Right.
When we speak our truth,
Yeah.
we give permission for others to do the same, and collectively,
Yeah.
our voices, they can create this powerful force for change.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired, but let's be realistic, right? We're not gonna like dismantle this whole system overnight. There will be times, when we feel tempted to give in to those old patterns of seeking, external validation or chasing exclusivity. How do we stay motivated and
Yeah.
committed to this path of
Yeah.
conscious living?
It's a journey, it's not a destination.
Right.
And like any journey, there'll be bumps along the road.
Yeah.
The key is to be patient with ourselves, to celebrate our progress, and to keep coming back to those core values,
It's about recognizing that we're all uh, works in progress,
Yeah.
and we're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to live in alignment with our values.
Exactly. And remember, we don't have to do it alone. Surround yourself with people who support your journey,
Hmm.
who inspire you to be your best self, and who remind you of your inherent worth.
So it's about building a community of like-minded individuals
Yeah.
who share our values and who can support us on this path of conscious living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because ultimately we're all in this together, and together we can create a world where everyone feels valued, connected, empowered to live their most authentic and fulfilling lives.
Beautifully said. Okay, so we've explored the downsides of VIP culture, the psychology behind it,
Yeah.
and some practical strategies for challenging those,
Yeah. Right.
those ingrained beliefs and creating a more equitable and fulfilling world. But I'm curious,
Yeah.
what about the future of VSP? Will this obsession with exclusivity eventually just fade away,
Right.
or is it here to stay?
That's a fascinating question, and I don't think there's a simple answer.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe we're at a crossroads.
Okay.
On one hand, we are seeing a growing awareness of those negative impacts, right? Of
Yeah.
this culture of exclusivity.
Mm.
People are yearning for more authenticity,
Yeah.
more connection, experiences that have real meaning.
Right. It's like we're starting to see through that illusion of exclusivity,
Yeah.
recognizing that it doesn't actually lead to lasting happiness or fulfillment.
Exactly. And that's creating this demand for a different kind of experience.
Right.
One that's more inclusive, more personalized, more aligned with our values.
So it's not about eradicating exclusivity altogether. It's about redefining it.
Yeah.
Making it more accessible, more meaningful, more aligned with our collective well-being.
Precisely. I think we'll see a shift away from those traditional models of VIP that are based on on status exclusion
Hmm.
toward a more personalized approach that focuses on creating truly exceptional experiences for everyone, regardless of their spending power.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
not about the label. It's about the substance.
Yep.
It's about creating experiences that make people feel valued, seen, understood.
Exactly. And I believe technology,
Yeah.
it'll play a big role in this shift.
Hmm.
With advancements in data analytics and personalization, businesses will be able to tailor experiences, to individual preferences like never before.
It's like having a personal concierge,
Yeah.
who curates experiences based on your unique tastes and interests,
Yeah.
making everyone feel like a VIP.
Precisely. And I think this will lead to a uh more democratized, personalized form of VIP.
Okay.
Where everyone has access to experiences that feel special, tailored to their needs.
I love that vision. A future where everyone feels like a VIP, not because they're part of some exclusive group,
Right.
but
Yeah.
because they're treated with respect,
Yeah.
care, a genuine understanding of their individual needs.
Exactly. It's about creating a world where value is no longer defined by exclusivity,
Right.
but by the quality of the experience, the
Yeah.
depth of the human connection.
And it's about recognizing that we all have something unique and valuable to offer.
Yes.
Regardless of our status or possessions, it's about celebrating our diversity, our
Mm.
individuality,
Yeah.
and our shared humanity.
Beautifully said. I think that's a perfect note to transition to the final part of our conversation,
Okay.
where we'll explore how we can each, embody this shift, how we can become the change we want to see in the world.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, right?
Yeah.
From that kind of subtle psychology of wanting to be into like envisioning a future where value isn't tied to,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
a velvet rope.
Yeah.
But this leaves me wondering what can we as like individuals
Right.
actually do to make this shift happen,
Yeah.
not just talk about it.
Right. That's where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly.
It's one thing to like intellectually grasp these concepts,
Hmm.
but quite another to embody them in our daily lives.
Exactly. So where do we even begin? What are some like concrete steps we can take to walk the walk, not just talk the talk?
One of the most powerful things we can do is become more intentional about our
Yeah.
choices.
Right.
Every decision we make, from the products we buy to the people we spend time with,
Yeah.
it's a vote for the kind of world we want to create.
So it's about being mindful consumers,
Mm-hmm.
not just in terms of, what we buy,
Right.
but also in terms of the experiences we choose, the
Yes.
information we consume, the relationships we cultivate.
Precisely. Ask yourself, does this choice align with my values? Does it
Hmm.
contribute to my well-being and the well-being of others? Or is it perpetuating a system that I don't want to support?
It's about taking responsibility for our impact,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that even like seemingly small choices can have a ripple effect. But let's get like specific.
Yeah.
What are like some examples of choices we can make in our daily lives that can help like, shift this paradigm?
Let's start with something as simple as saying thank you,
Okay?
expressing gratitude,
Yeah.
to those who provide us with services, no matter how small. I mean, it's a powerful way to acknowledge their worth
Right.
and to create a more humanizing experience for everyone involved.
I love that. It's about shifting our perspective from entitlement to appreciation,
Mhm.
recognizing that every interaction it's an opportunity to connect with another human being.
Yeah.
What are some other
We
examples?
can also be more conscious of how we treat those in,
Yeah.
service positions. Treat everyone with respect and kindness, regardless of their role or status. Remember that they are human beings with
Right.
their own lives, challenges, and dreams.
It's about recognizing the inherent dignity of every person,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of their occupation or position in society. But what about those situations where, like we encounter like poor service or disrespectful behavior?
Right.
Should we just like accept it
Yep. Yeah.
in the name of being like nice?
Not at all. It's
Yeah.
important to set boundaries and to advocate for ourselves when necessary, but you know,
Yeah.
if we can do it in a way that's assertive yet respectful. Remember, the goal is not to like punish or shame the other person,
Right.
but to communicate our needs and expectations clearly and to create a more positive and productive interaction.
So it's about finding that balance between like being assertive and being compassionate,
Yeah, yeah,
recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and
yeah.
that sometimes, you know, a gentle reminder or constructive feedback can go a long way.
Exactly. And remember, our actions, they speak louder than words. When we model respectful behavior, we inspire others to do the same. And collectively, we can create a more positive, humanizing culture for everyone.
Okay, so we talked about being intentional with our choices,
Mm.
expressing gratitude,
Yeah.
treating others with respect, and advocating for ourselves when necessary. What are some other like practical steps we can take to challenge this VIP mentality
Right.
and create a world where everyone feels valued and respected?
Another really powerful tool is our ability to amplify the voices of those who are often, marginalized
Ah,
or overlooked.
yep.
Support businesses that are owned by women, people of color, members of other, underrepresented groups. Share their stories, promote their work, help create a more equitable and inclusive
But
marketplace.
it's about using our platforms and our influence to lift up others and to create opportunities for those who might not otherwise have them.
Mm.
But it's not just about supporting businesses. It's also about supporting individuals.
Absolutely. We can be mentors, allies, and advocates for those who are facing,
Absolutely practical.
systemic barriers,
Yeah.
discrimination. We can challenge those subtle biases and microaggressions that often go unchecked. We can speak up for those who don't have a voice.
It's about recognizing that we're all like interconnected,
Yeah.
that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and that we have this responsibility to use our privilege to create a more just and equitable world for everyone.
Beautifully said. And remember, even small acts of kindness and compassion, they can have a profound impact,
Yeah.
A smile, a listening ear, a helping hand. These seemingly small gestures can brighten someone's day and remind them that they are seen, valued, loved.
It's about recognizing that true fulfillment it comes not from accumulating wealth or status,
Sorry.
but from connecting with our shared humanity and
Yeah.
and contributing to the well-being of others.
Mm,
And that's something that's accessible to everyone,
yeah,
regardless of our circumstances or position in society.
exactly. And that's a beautiful message to end on. The power to create a more equitable, fulfilling, connected world. It lies within each of us. It starts with our choices, our actions, and our commitment to treating ourselves and others with dignity, respect, love.
Well said. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the world of VIP culture and that quest for true value. I hope this conversation has inspired you to, think critically about your own values, to make more conscious choices, and to contribute to a world where everyone feels seen, valued, and empowered to live their most authentic and fulfilling lives.
It's been my pleasure.